To understand the story of the 2022 World Series, one must understand the origin, the summer-long trials and tribulations from 4 teams that brought them to this moment. And although the 2022 season was played over the course of some grueling and exhausting months, it all came to a head in just 3 days, days filled with drama, heartbreak, controversy, and most importantly, triumph. It was, for all intents and purposes, the most memorable 3 days in the history of the sport. This is 3 days in August. Bourne Park, the home of TBR Wiffle Ball and the site of the 2022 postseason. It was here that the pilgrimage for the World Series championship began, when the Padres and the Diamondbacks met in the National League Championship Series.
I remember on the drive to that game, me and Joe drove together, me and Craner. Tensions, I wouldn't say were high, but you know who you're facing, and playing the Padres isn't something that anyone really wants to do, and it wasn't something that we knew would be an easy series for us, especially to get to the World Series. I mean, playoffs are tough in this league.
It sounds cliche, but I was super nervous the day leading up to the game. I sat on the couch all day. I didn't eat. I was just thinking about the game. It really wasn't until the lines were painted on the field and I laced my sneakers up in Frullo and I started warming up together that I kind of calmed myself down and put myself into the game mentality.
I brought the boys together right before we went out there, and I just let them know. I was like, it doesn't matter, what the record says. But at the end of the day, we know that we have this team. We have a team right here that can win, that can put some runs on the board, that can play good defense. And we got the pieces to the puzzle. It's just a matter if we believe in ourselves. And everyone starts on a clean slate in the playoffs, and we truly believe that, and that was our biggest thing.
I just kept telling my guys that, regardless of what was happening on the field, that we just had to play our game. Regardless of what happens on the scoreboard, regardless of what happens on the field, we just got to play Padre Wiffle Ball, and we just got to stick to our game script.
We're good. Game 1.
With tensions running high as Game 1 got underway, the Diamondbacks struck first on the scoreboard, in a play that had no shortage of controversy.
Not fair. I swear that's fair.
That was gone, yeah.
No. That was fair!
It landed fair.
It's a playoffs. I wouldn't.
You want to review it?
I'm not gonna. You can look, but I wouldn't lie about that. That was fair. I don't know. How did it land fair?
It curved around the pole.
No, that landed.
Do you want to review it?
That landed fair.
I will review it.
I am confident that was almost fair. Go over the fence. Yeah, it went on fence.
I thought it was fair.
Yeah. What's that? What happens when you fucking hit down? It looks foul the whole way to the end land. I mean, I'm up. I would not lie about that. I'm standing at the foul line. I would. No, if I was in your position, I would.
How do we take this back?
That home run obviously wasn't a clear-cut, fair ball to most people. I do genuinely 100%, 110% believe it was fair.
When Michael hit that home run, immediately I thought it was foul.
My biggest thing was trying to stay honest. It was pretty obvious that I was going to stand my ground, but also make it clear that I'm not the kind of guy that would, play dirty.
Even if there was a little bit of doubt that ball was fair, I wanted to question it, and I wanted to make sure that we were getting the call right.
I wasn't going to go out there and just, try to cheat my way to a win. I hit a home run. I believed I hit a home run. My guys believed I hit a home run. It was fair, and I was going to stick to that.
The ball looked like it started foul, continued foul, and landed foul.
The Padres are tough. They play the mental game as well as the physical game on the field, especially Brendan. I knew with him, I needed to be honest. I was like, dude, I'm not the kind of guy. You know me, wiffle ball aside, I'm the same player on the field. I'm not gonna do you dirty and try to, play cutthroat wiffle ball. I hit a home run, that's what it is. So my thing was trying to really just make that clear.
Michael's one of my best friends, and I love the kid, and there's some things in life that we'll see eye to eye on and some things that we won't, and this is one of those things that I know that we just won't see eye to eye on. I understand where he was coming from, and he was coming from a good place when he was saying to me, I wouldn't lie about that, and I wouldn't lie about it being fair. And you have to remember that we were in a playoff setting, and we were going to be down 3-0, and I wanted to make sure that we were going to get the call right.
After an extensive review and some sidebar bantering between the respective captains, the call on the field was upheld, and the Diamondbacks' early 3-run lead was validated.
I said to Frullo when he was walking up to bat, I said, you know what you need to do here. We've done it before. We've been in this situation before. And I remember Christian and I having a conversation saying, we've scored 6 runs in an inning before. So let's go out and let's do it again.
Nick Frullo is leading off the game for the Padres. That ball is smoked. The ball's popped up. And it's gone. And it is a 3-2 game. Mike with a lot of spin on it. Ball's in play. Digs it out of the dirt. That ball is absolutely smoked. Ball 4. Ball is hit the fence. Brendan hoping for his 3rd home run of the inning, but he gets hit on the shoulder. Michael hoping for the strikeout here. Ball's in play. And everyone is safe at their base. Ball's in play. And that will end the inning with 6 runs. Padres put up 6 in the bottom of the 1st.
That was kind of the spark plug that I think we needed, the back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the 1st.
The 6-run inning from the Padres would prove to be enough, as they held off the Diamondbacks in innings 2 and 3 to take the game 1 victory.
The pitch. Strike 3. Padres take game 1 of the series and are 1 win away from advancing to the World Series.
I felt like going into game 2, pressures were, tensions were high, but we knew that we've been in a spot like this before. We were used to being down in series and, trying to battle back. And I think, we just kind of gave us the mindset, okay, we got to fight.
In a must-win second game, the Diamondbacks found themselves trailing after a 4-run first inning from the Padres.
That just kind of made everything look like we were out of reach. Playing from behind, not only in the series, but in the game, right from the jump. It's like, and it doesn't really get much worse than that.
A poor mound performance from Brendan Willett, however, would give the Diamondbacks the chance they needed to even the series.
And it hits him. The Diamondbacks have now tied the game at 4.
This game was grueling, and I think you can see it in the video that we were tired. It was a hot day out. We'd been at the field for a long time. I would use the analogy that it was kind of like a boxing match out there. The Diamondbacks would hit us with a couple jabs. We would throw back with a right hook, and no team was really pulling ahead.
Clinging to a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 2nd, the Padres found themselves on the wrong side of controversy once again.
Ball's in play. I couldn't tell because I couldn't see.
It's another one of those situations where you kind of wish it was a cleaner play.
Added to the list of controversial things that happened in this series, I just remember the ball kind of dribbling down the third base line. By the time I'd collected the ball and my momentum had kind of taken me closer to home plate, I looked up and I realized that Bryce was about halfway down the baseline, and that I had a shot to get him out at home plate. By the time I got to him, his foot was just about to step on home plate. But in my eyes, what I saw was that the ball hit him in the elbow right as he's stepping on home plate. And in my eyes, that was an out.
After close to 30 minutes of review, it was determined that there was no conclusive video evidence to overturn the call, meaning Bryce Bedard was safe, and the game was yet again tied.
It was our game to lose.
In the top of the 3rd inning, the Diamondbacks held an 8-7 lead. With a decisive Game 3 looming over the field, the Padres looked for one last spark from their offense.
As captain, all I tried to do was just rally any sort of momentum out of my guys and just see if we could squeeze, the last bit of luck out of our team.
With 1 out and the bases loaded, it was time for the captain to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah, so as luck would have it, 1 out, dying chances in the game, and I have to step up to the plate, and I'm a nervous wreck. My parents had shown up and they were standing behind me and watching, so there was even more added pressure. And I knew that if I could just put a ball anywhere in play, that we'd have a good chance at least tying the game.
This would be crucial for the Padres' hopes.
I just remember seeing it come off of his hand, and I just said to myself, you're going to swing at this one. This is the pitch. I got it off the end of the bat a little bit, but it just kind of dribbled nicely down that first base line in fair territory.
The ball's in play. It's a fair ball. He's safe at first. And the Padres get a run.
I strained my vocal cords yelling so hard, but the heat of the moment, I felt like I'd made a game-winning play, and that's when the pressure started to come off the shoulders a little bit. For the first time all day, it felt like we were just minutes away from heading to the World Series.
Thanks to Brendan Willett's late-game heroics, the Padres were able to turn their one-run deficit into a 4-run lead.
It's like you realized that the game was in your hands and you just made a turnover. You just kind of gave the other team exactly what they needed. And that happens. It's the sport. No one's perfect, but that's kind of where we did it to ourselves.
And the Padres are now 1 out away.
I'll be honest. I feel like it kind of was right for me to be in that spot. At the end of the day, I'm the captain of that team, and I wear that with pride. In my head, I'm like, the last thing I want to do is be the last guy out here. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be me.
Michael waiting for a pitch to drive. They are down 4, though. Strike 3. And that ends the series and the season for the Diamondbacks. But for the Padres, they're moving on to the TBR World Series, and they will face either the Mets or the Yankees.
As soon as Michael swung at that pitch and the ball sails past the strike zone, I just kind of collapsed. It was such a long day. It was such a tiring day. It was such a stressful day. To get that reward at the end of it all, it was the best feeling in the world. Everybody came together after that series, and we shook hands, and we exchanged kind words, and they wished us luck, and we congratulated them on a great season. But we celebrated that night, but then we knew that come tomorrow we had a new challenge to face, and that was the World Series.
ALCS. Somebody's going home today, somebody's going to the World Series.
Look, confidence was never an issue with us. Entering the ALCS, there's no question we're winning both those games. Like, that's the mindset going in, is that, look, we've beaten everybody, and we won, 14, 15 straight, something ridiculous to end the season. So, yeah, the confidence all-time high.
Even though the Mets had already set their sights on a World Series date with the Padres, Chris Barone and the Yankees wanted to play spoiler to the Mets' plans.
Our last win came against these guys when they were at full strength, so we got a few tricks up our sleeves, so we'll have to see.
Got a good one in store today. Hot one.
Despite the 90-degree weather and smoldering sun, the Yankees were able to jump out to an early lead after Chris Barone's 3-run home run.
1-0. That one is gone! Chris Barone with a 3-run shot early.
We were never desperate. What you gotta remember is, we might have been down 3-0, but they hit first.
A ball here walks in a run. And it does. 3-1 game, still nobody out. The 3-2. That one's in the dirt. A run walks in. The 1-1. That one hits them. Tie game. The 3-0. The ball here gives the Mets the lead. And it does. 4-3 game. The 1-2 to Jackson Hart. That one hits him. 5-3 game. A ball here ends the inning. The 3-2 pitch. And it does.
The series was never slippable. We were in control the whole time. We could have been up by 15, and we would have been in control. The series was never going to slip away. We could have lost the game. Wouldn't have mattered.
The Mets did have an answer for the Yankees' explosive attack, but still found themselves in a 9-9 tie heading into the 3rd inning.
9-9 game, bases are loaded with 1 out. The 2-2 pitch. It's high, it's back. Cam Brown will make the catch and fall over the fence. Robs Chris of a home run. We remain tied at 9.
Yeah, Brownie gives us a spark when he just shows up, right? The home run catch for sure is a huge play when you look back on the playoffs, but I think we were just more happy to have him there and happy to have an extra field,
With Game 1 hanging in the balance, the Mets turned to their offensive leader in Jackson Hart.
Anytime a Wiffle Ball bat is in the hands of Jackson Hart, there is a threat of a baseball going over the fence.
The 2-0. That one is back, and it is gone. Jackson Hart walks it off in game 1. That's an 11-9 win for the Mets. It was touch and go for a while there, but Jackson Hart, the usual suspect at the plate, walks it off in game 1.
The momentum from Jackson Hart's Game 1 walk-off carried over into Game 2, where the Mets began to put the finishing touches on their World Series berth.
The 1-1. That one's way gone. Cam Brown, a very casual grand slam. 2-1. That one's fair. Seth Hellman adds to his postseason home run total. That one is fair. 1-2. That one's gone, and it ends the inning.
A 12-4 victory over the Yankees in Game 2 certified the Mets' spot in the 2022 World Series, a position Seth Hellman knew the team would be in all season long.
I mean, it was expected, right? Like, we walked in expecting to sweep. I mean, I called it earlier in the season. We were like probably halfway through the season, and I said during a pregame or a postgame interview, like, look, it's very clear that there are two top teams in this league, and it's us and it's the Padres, and we're on a collision course.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty clear. Padres 1, us 2, or you 2 and us 1.
I made the prediction. I was like, it's going to be us against the Padres in the World Series, and sure enough, we win that game, and the Padres end up, beating the Diamondbacks and getting their way in. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was any feeling at all. It was just, all right, cool, this is what was expected. I mean, heading into the World Series, there's only one goal, and that's to win it all.
The Mets entered the 2022 World Series riding a 16-game win streak, with their last 3 regular season wins coming against the team they were about to face. A memory that was still on the minds of the Padres.
The World Series from start to finish pretty much felt like a blur. I don't really remember much from the games. It all just kind of happened so fast. I think that the Mets were a much better prepared team, and that showed.
Yes, sir! Come on! Let's go. Come on. Nice. Come on. Let's go! Come on! Let's go!
With Game 1 still scoreless in the second inning, Jackson Hart stepped to the plate looking to break the tie.
You know, it's an unsettling feeling when you have the regular season MVP standing up at the plate with an opportunity to not only give his team the lead, but to, more likely than not, give his team the win.
Oh, come on. Come on, get over him. Let's go! Come on!
Yeah, once Jackson hit that home run, kind of felt like Game 1 was over.
When he hits that home run, we absolutely felt like that was going to be enough to win that game.
The Mets would go on to close out the Padres in Game 1 of the series, winning by a final score of 1-0. At the start of Game 2, a dark shadow was cast over the Padres as they were now 2 games away from elimination. That would not be the only shadow cast in this game, however.
Yeah, so you're in Game 2, you're battling, it's tense on the field, it's pretty quiet, and then all of a sudden, the rain just fell.
Yeah, so I mean, the rain starts coming down, and look, we knew the rain was coming. And so it starts raining a little bit. Like, there's a little bit of a drizzle, and then, goes away, and then all of a sudden, boom, downpour.
The rain continued to fall as Game 2 progressed, and despite the wet conditions, a series-defining play was on the horizon.
Okay, so Will even showing up to this series was unplanned. And I shit you not, I send Will a message, and I go, you need to send me a video of you swinging a bat. Because if I see you swing a bat and it is atrocious, I'm not bringing you to this field. And so Will, I probably still have the video, sends me a video on Snapchat of him swinging like a fucking 20-inch T-ball bat. Yeah, I end up going to pick up Will, and I drive me in the middle of the game, and he ends up catching a home run and essentially saving that game.
After he makes that catch, it was kind of like someone had taken away the only chance we had.
The momentum from Will Tesmer's game-saving catch carried the Mets to yet another victory, winning once again by just 1 run. Now up 2 games to none in the best of 5, they look to sweep the series and capture their first title in franchise history. Lockdown pitching from both teams left the game scoreless entering the 3rd inning as tensions began to rise with every at-bat.
Ground ball to Brendan. Looking to make the first play. Gets Seth out to end the inning. Swing and a miss. Ferrulo once again survives. Gets his boys out of the inning. I believe that's back-to-back innings with the bases loaded and Ferrulo strikes out the side.
In yet another back-and-forth game, Mets captain Seth Hellman was ready to deliver a striking blow to the Padres.
And a high fly ball. And that's out of here. The Mets in the top of the 3rd with no outs. Captain Seth Hellman with a 3-run home run to get the first runs on the board for his team in Game 3. Huge home run by Seth.
To be able to have that moment where it's like, this is my team, I'm the captain, we're gonna win this World Series, to be able to kind of make my mark on it more than just having shown up all year long and gotten us to that point, like, it felt awesome. Yeah, I mean, I went out and I grabbed that ball and I've still got it, and I plan on keeping it for a long time. It's one of my favorite sports memories, period, in my lifetime.
Minutes later, with the Mets just a couple outs away from a World Series title, tensions between the opposing captains reached a boiling point.
And that's it. I mean, I kind of, like, your arms moved. Your arms kind of went like that.
Well, because I go like...
Yeah, but like, you kind of went like that. So I'm going to call that a ball. Your arms kind of went like that. I'm going to call that a ball. Because, like, I get how, like, you're going to go like that, but it's like, it's not the first time where I felt like your hands have dropped in the entire year. So just to be...
Is that's me preparing to swing.
Yeah, but when the ball's clearly inside, you're not going to swing. No, it's all good. 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 I got it. I got it under control. Brendan, I got it. I'm calling that a ball. Brendan, I'm calling that a ball. Just to call it a ball.
What the fuck is the matter?
I'm calling it a ball because that's what I'm calling it. That's just me. That's on me. I know. So you're just going to continue the at-bat. 1-0 count.
Now, I will maintain to this day that I did not lean into that pitch. I'm never going to say that I leaned into it because in my mind, I never had the intention.
Regardless of whether or not he intended to lean into the pitch, I felt like there needed to be a stricter approach from the home plate umpire.
And so I tried to remain as calm as possible. And so I turn and I'm just like talking very quietly to Lynch about it. I don't remember what Willett yelled, but Willett didn't, thought that I was still arguing it. And at that point, I don't even think I was arguing it anymore.
Seth will say that he was not arguing the call, but you can go back and watch the video and it's very clear he's still arguing the call after it's been made. My frustration there is that the wrong call was made. By rule, that should have been a strike. And you can go and you can look in the rule book. If a player leans into a pitch, it's ruled a strike. Michael very generously ruled that a ball. So I felt that the Mets had absolutely no ground to stand on when it came to complaining about the ruling.
The very next pitch, the most controversial moment of the entire 2022 season, played out before our very eyes.
Well, the dirt, fuck that. Brennan's going to go for the out. Oh, that's not very sportsmanlike, but with 1 out now.
I'm not proud of how everything unfolded afterwards. Look, did I want to be the guy that caused an uproar and was, throwing insults back and forth with the opposing captain? No, I don't want to be that guy. Obviously, I want to focus on wiffle ball, and I don't want to take the focus away from the gameplay. The one regret I have is I think I hit Seth too hard with the ball.
In that moment, and looking back I'm just proud of myself because 10, 11, 12-year-old me chases him around that field until he collapses and tries to beat the crap out of him.
And I'll admit, I think it was a moment of weakness for myself and for my team, and I think we lost sight of what was really important. Look, it's wiffle ball. It's happened before in this league. Emotions run high, things get out of hand, it happens.
Look, we're as close as we've ever been, me and Willet. You know, at that point, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you look back on that particular moment in a sour lens, but I mean, I love the guy. It doesn't matter. We've moved past it.
You know, after the game, Seth and I cleared the air, and you know, we shook hands, and that's that. And at the end of the day, we're still friends, and nothing's changed. And I think he gets that. And the people that we are on the field are very different than the people that we are off. And on the field, we have a very strong disdain for each other, but off the field, we're really close.
After the chaos of the third inning eventually subsided, the focus for the Mets shifted back to the task at hand, which was closing out the World Series.
3-2 count. Just catches the bottom of the zone. Ferrullo goes down looking. Give his Padres 1 out in the bottom of the third. Goes down swinging, and the Mets win the TBR Wiffle Ball World Series. They are the 2022 champions.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. We put our heart and soul into this shit, man. When I first lift that trophy. Woo! I mean, there are all sorts of emotions. You know, you're so happy that you did it. There's a sense of relief because you've expected this from yourself for the whole season.
To the MVP, baby!
An immense sense of accomplishment. It's all the emotions, man. I mean, it's so positive. I still look back on that, and you know, every once in a while, just to relive the moment a little bit because it's a memory that I'll cherish forever.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah, it sucked. Once I kind of got over the initial shock of losing that game, I was happy for them, and you could tell that was a pretty monumental moment for Seth and for Jackson and for Will, and so I was happy for them, even though it hurt to watch and it hurt to be on the losing side of it, and I'd prefer that it was myself and my own team being the champions at the end of the World Series, but I was happy for them.